welcome to another episode of Sweet 915. I'm your host, Curtis Smith, and my co-host,
It's me, Fedora. How you doing today, Curtis?
Fedora, let me tell you, were you
What?
aware that there was an election going on this week somewhere in the Northeast?
Yeah, I voted
You heard about it? Okay. I'm just checking because I
for
don't
the
want to.
school board.
I don't want. I don't want to get on here and say the wrong thing. So that's my
It was a
fault.
runoff, so you had to. There was one prior to, and then there was another one because there was a runoff, and so yeah, you had to vote again in the runoff part.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's on me then. I wasn't aware of there was a runoff. Just happened to be going in the area down the street, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw the sign saying
Mm-hmm.
"Vote here,"
Yeah,
and I said, well, "When did this come about?" So
yeah,
my
it was pretty
apologies
fast.
to those school board members. That's on me. I am registered to vote, however, I didn't vote. So my apologies. That I didn't
Oh,
do
you
my
still have a
part.
chance though.
What I thought you
Um,
just said that the runoff was recently.
no, that was like early voting for the runoff. The
Oh, that was. Oh, I'd like to do
uh-huh.
early voting.
That was
Okay.
you just missed early voting. You can still do it. I think it's on the first. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The first through something. I have a flyer. I have to look at it. But yeah.
okay. Well,
Hmm.
we want to thank you again for tuning in to Sweet 915 today. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's not as they say, it's not a day off. It's a day to remember
Recognize.
those that are no longer with us, that made the ultimate sacrifice so that
Mhm.
we can remain free as Americans. You know what I'm saying? So, um, to all the soldiers and family members that lost family members that were in the military, our condolences go to you. Like you said, you can go to the National Cemetery is open. I saw that on the Department of Defense website. So
Mhm.
the national cemeteries are open. So if you want to go by and put a flower on the grave or, um, the signs of respect with the coins, you can do that. So I went one year and the lines are very long. So you might want to get there early. That's all I'm going to tell you. But today we're going to talk about life insurance. Before we do that, we're going to give you some updates on COVID-19. Yes, we're going to continue to talk about it because it's important as people are afraid to take the shot. That's one of the reasons I feel that the numbers are going up for Dora because people
Mm.
feel,
Don't be afraid. I mean,
yeah,
take it. We both taking it.
yeah,
We're still here.
yeah.
We haven't grown anything extra. I'm not magnetized. So
Hmm.
take it if you want to stay, alive. If would contract it,
Mm.
if you don't want to leave this earth from it, if you would happen to get it, then go ahead and take the vaccine. I think that's the only logical thing to do at this point because
Okay.
it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. And as you can see, there's an increase in the uh, positive reports.
Cases. Hmm.
Yeah, positive cases, and then you have two new deaths. So reported deaths. I'm gonna say two new reported deaths. So as you can see, the numbers are still increasing, and that's why Fedora and I encourage you to wear your mask. Continue to wear your mask because just because you got the vaccination does not mean that you cannot get COVID. That's the misconception that people have that you
Yeah.
can't get COVID if you got the shot. So we walking around with no mask on in a room full of people that is
Who have
breathing in.
not been vaccinated.
Yeah, yeah. So she took the slide down. So persons partially vaccinated. This is another important information you need to put out. Those persons that partially vaccinated is 469,000. Persons fully vaccinated is 372,000. And you can see the other numbers. COVID-19 vaccinations administered 841,000. So we're continuing to improve on those vaccinations. They are available. Remember to go to elpaso.org, elpasostrong.org, and they'll give you the testing sites. They'll tell you where you can get vaccinated, the times. they'll tell you the free places and some places that charge for last minute. For those that are traveling out of country, sometimes you might charge a little extra for a test to prove that you don't have COVID and then you've been vaccinated. So traveling out of country is a lot different than the local travel within the states.
Yeah, I can imagine those are stricter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you will have to. Usually, you have to quarantine, for whatever amount of days that
Yeah, I think it's 10 to 15
place
days when you get to where
requires
you're going before they even allow you to enter
to
the
come
country.
out. Yeah, and then they test you after your quarantine, and then you can go on to your, destination or wherever it is whoever you're trying to see or whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
So when traveling abroad, make sure you give yourself enough time to do the quarantine. Yeah. So.
And again, we offer our condolences to those who have lost loved ones, whether COVID or another illness or natural cause. We offer our condolences to them. And as you know, locally, there have been several incidents at local establishments. So when you're going out to these local establishments, be safe and be careful. Watch out for each other and always go in pairs. Never go alone. It's just the right thing to do, is being cautious of yourself and your surroundings. So if you have any local events you would like for us to promote, send us an email at the Real Suite 915 or message one of our social medias at host Curtis Smith or at It's Me Fedora. Fedora will get back to you fast too. She's really good at it. Oh,
You trying to be funny.
Hey, it's Sunday, man. It's Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We thank everyone. Go ahead, Fedora.
I just say we want to thank everyone who participated in our month of May military appreciation and mental health awareness observance. Our discussions about mental health will not end. This topic will continue to be important to us to share with you guys. So it's very important that we break that stigma amongst our people.
Yeah. What we got next week?
Well, next week we'll share our upcoming topics during our limited series summer break. But next month, our focus is on men in the community who are making a difference. Remember that.
Men in the community. So if you know you're making a difference, send us an email so we can give you a shout out and put you on the show and highlight what you're doing in the community. Just let us know what you're doing so we can highlight you and we won't forget you.
Yep. And during our Father's Day segment, we'll honor fathers in our community. So please send your father information, the one who you want to honor, send that in to us, please.
Okay. Today's topic is financial planning with a focus on insurance. Today's guest is U.S. Army veteran, retired Major Gary Loten-Beckford, native of the Bronx, New York. He enlisted in the Army in August of 1992 and attended Military Police 1 Station Unit training at Fort McClellan, Alabama. Captain Loten-Beckford received his commission through Officer Candidate School at Fort Benning, Georgia, graduated as Distinguished Military Graduate, and commissioned into the Military Police Corps. He is married to the former Giovanka Gailey of the Republic of Panama. They have 3 children, and they reside in El Paso, Texas. His hobbies include martial arts, reading, and Masonic and Shriners Organization community service. Please welcome Mr. Beckford.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon and good evening here from Dallas.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming on the show and giving us the opportunity for you to tell us about your organization and what you do and living here in El Paso, what you can do for some of the people that's interested in having insurance, having life insurance. So,
yeah,
absolutely. So, so right after I retired from the military, even before I retired, I knew I was going to get into the financial services industry. I didn't know which one. I had a good financial advisor, and during the process of going through my annual review, I asked him, I said, how do I get into the business? How do I do what you do? And and he essentially, explained through the licensing processes, and ever since after that annual review, it seemed like every annual review that I had with him turned into how I get into the business. We spent 5 minutes on my financial plan, which was pretty good. And he was like, "Yeah, your plan is good. All right, this is how you get into the business." And it went on like that for several years. And it just took for me to decide which company I wanted to join and become, a pillar to that company and continue helping individuals and families and businesses. So when I came across Northwestern Mutual, really they came across me. I applied, for them, and I forgot. It's like one of those things. I submitted my resume, and I was just so focused on Army business. And one of the director of selections called me up and was like, "Hey, Miss Loten, we have your resume here." And I was like, "Where are you calling me from? Who? Where?" And so when I heard the company's name again, I was like, "Northwestern Mutual." Oh yeah, I did apply. And so I went through the interview process. That was like a 5 week process, but nonetheless, went through and I've been with the organization since. It's been fun. It's been challenging, but overall, it's been rewarding helping those put together a financial plan with an emphasis on insurance as the foundation, as a cornerstone of any plan, and then go on forth and bringing people in so that I can provide a good financial plan for them to help reach their goals and objectives.
So while you mentioned life insurance, for those that are not aware of what life insurance is, could you just give them a brief description of that?
Yeah, so life insurance as a whole, is essentially taking the risk away from one person onto another. In this case, it's a company. Um, so when we hear life insurance, growing up, we heard life insurance. It was something in the event that if one of us died, that always had to be the contingent. That was just the way we grew up. That's what we knew what it was. As I got older and as I started investing in myself, I found that there are ways that you can use insurance while you're still alive. There are methods, there are means that you can use insurance to help. As example, like COVID-19, you can use insurance to help build your business, help keep your business afloat while there's a pandemic going on. You can use insurance as a means of supplementing your income. Um, you know, Granted, you have the right type of insurance. There's insurance that can be used to help fund college. So there are all type of alternatives that you can use or have with insurance. Mind you, it's the right type of insurance. Absolutely.
Okay, so what forms of insurance does Northwestern Mutual provide to their clients and the difference?
Yeah. So essentially, we'll start with term life insurance. So term life insurance is that type of insurance that will say that if you were to have a house, it's like you're renting the insurance. So with term life insurance is generally, between a term of 10, 20, even 80 years that you could have this type of insurance for. Then you have what we, term as your permanent or whole life insurance, as some people know it as. And that's the type of insurance that comes with a cash value that's generally level for throughout the time that you have that insurance and you accrue cash value in it. That's the type of insurance that if you have issues in life in your business that you can borrow against and then use that to maintain your business, keep it afloat. Then we have disability insurance, of course, that's used to protect your wage. In the event that you get hurt and you can't go to work, then you have a set amount of income coming in that will keep you going to help pay the bills, food, grocery, things like that. Health insurance is another type of insurance. And then ultimately, long-term care that we all tend to forget about, but long-term care also is what we have for our clients. Those cornerstone bedrock foundation for any financial plan.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different types. Okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of different types.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So as we talk about the different types, what are the significance? Because I know, like you say, you have term and you have the second one you mentioned. So I
Cash.
think cash, yeah, the most
Permanent. Yeah,
right,
permanent life insurance. Yeah.
permanent. So with those two, I just like to, for most people that have those, because I know a lot of people that have those type of insurances. So could you explain a little more about the differences between the two? You know,
Yeah. I'll use an analogy of buying and owning, if
okay,
that makes any sense. I
right.
like to break it down like that because sometimes I get into it, I get super geeked out
Mm,
because it's something that I do and it fascinates me. I go, oh, you can do this, and I just lose people. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I try to bring you back.
right.
So I'll use analogies for it to really make sense.
Okay.
So when we have term life insurance, which is good.
Mm,
I'm not saying one is better than the other. Just make the comparison. So term life insurance, on one hand, is like renting a home. So when you rent a home, you generally have a lease on it, maybe 2 3 years or whatever. That's you're renting that insurance. Still a plan, still in place. Still provide you shelter. Then you have, on the other hand, you have permanent life insurance or whole life insurance, and you have that insurance that, kind of like owning a home, it appreciates year after year after year. And as the years go on, you acquire or you accrue equity in that
mm,
home, kind of like permanent life insurance. And when you establish equity in a home, you can borrow against it.
mm,
So that's the best analogy that I can use to distinguish the two types of insurance. And also with these two types of insurance, you can combine and blend these type of insurance. So it's not to say that you can't have one or the other. It's like, okay, I can only have this one. No, in a comprehensive plan, you can have the two merged together. You can have X amount in um, term life insurance, and then you can have X amount in permanent life insurance, and put the two together for a solidified plan. So I mean, it is possible to have one or have both. It's not to say that you can only have one and not the other. You can put the two together. Absolutely.
okay.
Okay. So, how is insurance used as an investment option? I keep hearing you saying you can invest in it. How can that be done?
Yeah. So I would prefer to say permanent life insurance be used as an asset versus investing. Um, But sometimes we get the terms kind of put together. But insurance as an asset, you can have cash as another foundation of a comprehensive financial plan. And then what we recommend is having anywhere between 3 and 6 months of cash reserves. And when we say 3 to 6 months, essentially of 3 to 6 months of how much you earn of your earnings. But what we learned from the pandemic is like 3 to 6 months is not even enough in some cases. So you may even want to stretch that to a year. So having up to 12 months of cash reserves as part of your foundation, and then on the other side of your foundation, if you were to include life insurance can be also included. So how do we have that as an asset? So by having permanent life insurance and term life insurance in your plan, in your comprehensive plan, you'll find that when we need funding for, trying to use businesses as an example, because we had a lot of businesses who had to borrow against their permanent life insurance. By having permanent life insurance in your comprehensive plan, not so much as an investment, but as an asset, you can use that to offset any costs that you may incur of supporting your business. Or in some cases, if you want to extend or expand and you have a well-defined or a good permanent life insurance in your portfolio, you can borrow against and then use those funds to buy real estate or buy property in regarding expanding your business. So not so much as an investment, but
But it's an
more so
asset.
as an asset used for investment, if that makes any sense.
Now, when you say you can pull that cash from it, is there a penalty in most policies wherein, like, if you pull a certain amount, you're being penalized for a certain amount or percentage?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, and that's often what we get. The question that I get too from some clients is, do I have to pay this back? What happens if I don't pay it back? And I'll give you an example. Say you have $500,000, it's your death benefit, right, in your permanent life insurance plan, and over the years you've been paying into this. You've been paying your premium on time, and so what happens, and more times than often, is your the dividends that's being paid, the dividends that's being output towards that life insurance plan that you have is being inserted into your death benefit as well as to the premiums in which you're paying. So on the side, what you have is, like, year after year, you have your accrued value growing. So what happens is, on two sides of the chart, you have your death benefit growing, you have your cash value or your accrued value growing. So in any regards, what will happen is if you borrow against, meaning if you have the fund, of course, you can borrow against, you take $20,000 to do some kind of maintenance on your business. What will happen is that $20,000, you can pay it back, but what will happen is, if you don't pay it back, the death benefit that you have will be minus that $20,000. So it's not to say that there's a penalty, the IRS is going to come after you or anything like that. These are funds that are not correlated to the market, that don't fluctuate, that are not volatile. They grow year after year. So the only thing that will occur really is, of that death benefit that you have, is going to be reduced by whatever dollars that you borrow against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So what makes Northwestern Mutual so different from other companies in the financial service industry?
Yeah. Again, I get that question, and I just have to, we have a comparison chart. It's called Competitive Edge, and it's kind of like progressive. I mean, mentioned in other companies, but it's really, you use Competitive Edge, or we have, and it's a tool that you use. It's not the apple to oranges comparison. It's apples to apples. It's like, okay, I have this insurance. What makes your company any more better than this one? And in a lot of regards, I was like, that company is a good company. I was like, they're a bank, so I mean, we are, we started off in life insurance, and we pivot, when it went into investments. So I was like, this is our forte, and it's kind of like going to a mechanic to fix a car mechanic to fix your refrigerator. You wouldn't do that. So I make the comparison in that regards. Is like, what makes Northwestern Mutual, I'm going to say better, but I'll just say different, the alternative. And I'll just say this: the business, Northwestern Mutual, has been around for over 160 years. Year after year, since 1872, we've been paying dividends to our clients. Now, what are dividends? Essentially, those dividends are extra cash that we have set aside for our business practice, and it goes back into the client. It doesn't go to the shareholders. It doesn't go to the stockbroker, because we're a private traded company. We're a mutual company. So what that means is that each policy owner is a shareholder. So every year when dividends are being paid out, depending on the type of policy that you have, that being a permanent life insurance, the dividends are being returned to you. Well, it's being returned into your death benefit. Now, if you want the dividends piece sent to you, of course, that can happen. But when you make the comparison against those other companies that are publicly traded, they can't say that, because they are held accountable by shareholders, by stockholders, even CEO. They have to make sure that the key stakeholders, those being the shareholders, receive their worth. So that those really are the two differences between Northwest, the difference between Northwestern Mutual and then let's say another industry that's publicly traded, because they are held accountable by the stockholders, whereas we at more Northwestern Mutual, our policyholders are the shareholders.
Okay. So what led you to you into this financial service industry?
So when I started investing officially, not like buying a few things here and there, but sitting down with someone and putting together a plan for me. I was about 23, 24 years old, relatively young. And when I found the whole thing about permanent life insurance back then, I'm not gonna say the year, but back, I was like, I thought it was a secret. I was like, did everybody know about this? And I was like, they should. This was what my then advisor was telling me. I was like, well, they should. And I was like, well, should and what people should
They know.
know
Yeah,
are
it's
two
two
different
different
things.
things.
And I remember running to friends, even family, and I was like, do y'all know about this? And they're like, no, no. And I remember there were friends in some family members who, when I told them I had a financial advisor, they're like, oh, you think you're, it was, yeah, it's the, bougie. Yeah. Oh, or I remember one example, one point was, hey, you want to go hang out or whatever? And I was like, nah, I got this appointment. I got my meeting with my financial advisor. And just the way it sounded was, oh, pardon me, he has to go see his financial advisor.
Because
But
they think you have a lot of money. So
Yeah.
as if,
yeah.
exactly, as if. And so at the time, every time I went in and had that review, that annual review with my financial advisor, I learned something. I learned something, not so much as how our financial holdings were growing and things like that, but I was like, more people should know about this. So I made it a point to where I needed to learn more, on the client side, but I need to learn more about it. And the more I learned, the more I was like, you know what, I need to get into this. And I had a few, say, man, why don't you get a real job? Because when we hear the commission work compared to that steady first and 15th, steady income coming, it's like, man,
Mhm.
you just don't know. But that's what led me in. I said more people should know about this, and in just the perspective on things of where we should start when it comes to financial planning is what led me in, and just really just giving a new perspective on what it means to financial planning. That's the first thing. The second thing that led me into the business was when I looked at different companies that had financial advisors, financial planners, financial representatives. If you look, and this is God's honest, if you look, the share representation don't represent America. It doesn't represent like put it this way, everyone did not look like me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if more people who look like me, who sounds like me, get into the industry and try to share what it is that we know and how to help other people, then I think it would resonate a little bit better than as opposed to like everyone looking different. So and that was a small a big part of why I wanted to get in. I knew it was like an uphill battle trying to convince some people who even related to me, for one, who know me in a different capacity, and then and secondly, thirdly, of looking like me. It's like, well, what do you know that I don't know? And because I've had that question, it was like, so why should I come to you? And because I only know you in as major. Now, why should I come to you in this? How can I trust you, with my money, with what my hard earned, and it's a valid point. It's a good, I don't take any issue with that. I don't take offense to it. I understand completely why. It's like, and I should earn your trust. And so, a lot of, friends prior to, I'm going, that's a challenge that, earning their trust and having them to work with me as opposed to them like, no, I'm going to go with this other guy who's been in the business 20, 30, 40 years. And that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So, what is the emergency savings fund and how is that used for a financial plan?
Yeah, so at any financial plan, like I said, the bedrock, the foundation of any financial plan, your cash reserves or your emergency funds we say is what you make a month, but to add to it a little bit more is what it takes for you to survive a month. So when you meet with us, when you meet with a financial representative for Northwestern Mutual, one of the first things we're going to ask you is what's most important to you and what is your monthly budget. So when we put together your monthly budget and we find like your liabilities, the where your money comes out, and it comes up to anywhere between $35 and $5,000. That is how much you need to have on cash reserve set aside for the month. Because without those funds set aside for up to 12 months, then you'll find that your survivability is not going to last. So we say that you should have anywhere between 3 and 6 months cash reserves, emergency reserves, and then, like I said, what we learned from the pandemic is to have something up to a year because we just don't know how bad of a situation we may face the next time around.
Mm-hmm. So true.
So my question.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is: do you have to be rich to have a financial planner or an advisor?
No, you don't. When we started off and with having a financial advisor, at the time, let me see, let me think back. I was a staff sergeant. I was a staff sergeant in the United States Army. So I don't think there are rich staff sergeants running around. And if they are, I mean, give me a call. Let me work with you. But no.
Yeah.
So no, you really don't have to be rich. I had a friend of mine tell me, he's like, I don't have enough money. That's what she told me. She's like, I don't. She's like, oh, I'd love to work with you, but I just don't have enough money. And my thing was, do you have earned income? And she said, yeah, I got earned income. She's like, well, no. The question was, what is earned income? And I was like, do you have a job where you earn income? And it was like, oh, yeah, I got a job. And I was like, why you just say that? And I get into this geek mode, and I was like, oh, earned income. And I was like, oh, wait, yeah. I said, all you got to have is a job. You got a job or even some type of fixed income. I was like, I'll work with you, And it's like, oh, okay. I just thought I had to have like $10,000 set aside, or I was like, no. As long as you got some earned income or fixed income, I was like, we can work together as long as you have the desire and setting a plan together, and helping me work towards your goals and objectives. I was like, yeah. All it takes is a little bit of discipline, a little bit of habit forming type activities, and I said, yeah, we can work together. So it's like that whole mindset again, the whole mindset of I must have this much money to see someone, and I was like, nah, well, you got to earn income or fixed income. I was like, let's talk.
Because most of the financial representatives, they find a way that will work with your budget. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I had a client that I was speaking with on, what day was that? Today is Sunday. It was Friday. He and I talked. We spoke on Friday, and I asked him. I was like, "How much are you willing to contribute monthly?" And it was a Zoom conference, and he was like, he looked at me. And I was like, "Dude, you're not giving me the money." I said, "This is for your plan." I was like, "From what we discussed, and I was like, based on my notes, what's most important to you is generational wealth to your kids, paying off my bills, having money set aside for the future and retirement." I was like, these are your goals. These are your objectives. It's not mine. I was like, I'm asking how much are you willing to contribute, because how I construct the plan is going to fit within how much you're willing or you would like to contribute monthly. Yeah. And it was like, oh. So we came up with a plan, and it fell well below what he was willing to contribute, but when we meet up again, we'll touch on those points where he wants to add on to his goals and objectives to reach it, and we'll hit onto it. Absolutely.
Okay. Um, I know it's maybe a crazy question, but like they say, there's no
Yeah.
crazy question when we're talking about people's money. You know what I mean? So, um, how do you get paid? How do you get paid?
Yeah.
When you talking financial management, your advisor, and I know advisor going to tell you some things that you really don't want to hear, like some of the things you have to cut back in order for you to be successful in your goals that you're trying to meet. When we talking about finances and life insurance and making money on the backside, so how do you get paid?
Yeah. So advisors, representatives, we get paid one of three ways, and so you have your reps, your advisors get paid by commission, straight commission, and that's me. I get paid commission,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have your other set advisors who get paid hourly. They get paid an hourly rate to put together a financial plan, detailed plan that's going to help you reach your goals and objectives. And then you have the advisors who get paid, combined both between commission and the hourly rate. So I mean, but me right now, I get paid, straight commission, and it's not to say that. And we hear commission, and it's like, oh, so he's only going to sell me what's going to make him more money. That's not absolutely true. By every set rules and guidelines, fiduciary rules, I have to work what's in the interest of the client. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's something that you have, I'll give you an example. And I fell into this situation or into this boat. I had insurance, not me, but say you have insurance from another company, right? And what you're paying or that type of insurance that you have is not performing as it should. All right. I could easily say, you know what, you should transfer that over to us so I can get paid more money, and I could, but that would be against the client's, best interest,
Mm-hmm.
especially if that person got that insurance policy at a younger age. And now here it is, they're much older and at a much older age of attainment. And that new age that they are in, they're going to be paying far more than what they would be paying than what they, by staying with that. So in your best interest, even though you have that plan, it is a plan. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot recommend you to leave, even though in some cases it's like, no, I'll just come over and do you. And it's like, no, it's not in your best interest.
Mhm.
Your best interest is to stay where you are, and let's look at some other investment options that you have. Let's set up a mutual fund for you. Let's set up an IRA Roth account for you. Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and set aside some funds to where it's going to best work in your interest, as opposed to just bringing over everything and hurting you financially.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
So while we're talking about your company, so tell us a little bit
Mhm.
of tell us a little bit more about Northwestern Mutual, the company itself.
So the company itself, again, started off 1852, but and we all knew. Well, I think I'm the history guy, but I love history. 1852, was not a good time period, especially if you had a little bit of melanin in your system. Um, and then really going into 1872, when we really started paying dividends to our clients, that was a period of Reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
And by looking at every time period going through the 20th century, we had World War One. Northwestern Mutual was still paying dividends to their clients. You had World War II. You had the Spanish flu. You had the period of depression. You had World War II. You had the Korean War. You had the Vietnam War. You had all these different periods, all these things that were going on in the world. And every given moment, Northwestern Mutual was paying dividends to their clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like, oh, we can't do it this year because we got World War II going on. So I'm sorry, you're gonna just have to receive no dividends on your policy every year consistently. This is part of the reason that led me to the company, is that it held true to their clients of paying their dividends, held true to the industry of being ranked, receiving the highest, standards through Moody, through the various type of rating officials when they're looking at the production wise, how they select their clients, not clients, but how they rate their clients, how they cover their clients. It led me into the industry, not so much into the industry, to the company. And then overall, looking at the numbers, even though 97% by design, it's not one particular company or the other, but by design, 97% of people who gain insurance normally outlive their term. So it's to say that a 47-year-old person gets a term life policy for 20 years. So you doing the math, you're going to be 67. So what happens is you're going to outlive that term, and at the end, you're going to have to get more insurance. But coming through this company here, you would be counseled and then really scrutinized on getting the right type versus just getting any policy and being on the books as a client. That's the one. Those are the differences between this. And again, it's not saying, I'm not saying that we're better than any other one. It's the peer review part. More to say is how the company is rated in the industry against others.
Okay.
I have a question for just like for, I know some people, like insurance companies are looked at, possibly in our culture, are looked at like negatively at times.
Absolutely.
Because they've gone through certain things and the companies do everything they can not to pay out, right? So what can you, what is something that a consumer needs to look for or ask a particular question for a company that you can vet that company to know whether they are a fit for you, that if something is to happen, you won't have to go through all this red tape to get your money, because you pay your premium on time. But then when it's time for them to pay out, it's like you got to go through all this stuff to get what you need.
Yeah, that's a good question. Essentially asking those questions, finding out like the exclusions, the exclusionary rules, what would prevent you from paying out a claim? That would be a one question.
Okay.
Another question is, and there is such a thing as being underinsured. So not so much overinsured, especially, for, loved ones behind, but, there is such a thing as being underinsured. And so me personally, I would ask any person in the industry of how did you come up with that number on my life, to be left with for my loved ones? How did you come up with that number? And if that person or whatever said, well, it's this, and statistically speaking, no, just give it to me simple. How did you come up with $500,000 for me to be insured? And for us, I mean, it's I say simple. I don't want to get all geeked out again, but we use a formula, and the formula that we use is I heard it. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, aloe. I was like the juice, like the lotion, and everybody was like, no, that's the way we remember it. And I was like, all right, so what is aloe? So aloe, we use aloe. Aloe is assets minus your liabilities that equals the owner's equity. So you take what you have, your home, your cars, your jewelry, your arts, your Van Gogh, your Rembrandts, all of that good stuff. You take those are your assets. You minus that from your liabilities, the things that you're paying out monthly on your car note, there's your credit, all that good stuff. You minus that, and that comes up to your owner's equity. Then what we use, then that's just a portion of the formula. Then we take how much you earn for the year. And in some cases, like, all right, could be 3 years, could be 5 years. We take 5 years income and then we add that to your owner's equity, and there it is. That's how much you should probably have as replacement on your income, replacement on your assets, and paying off your liabilities.
Okay.
So, in speaking to someone who lives in a $500,000 house, who makes $150,000 a year, who drives a nice BMW, the 750 Li and a Range Rover, and their life insurance policy is $250,000. Why? There's such a thing as being underinsured. So when we take all of those assets and we go through the formula and coming up with that number and then saying, look, this is around about how much you should be insured for. Then we go into finding out or putting together the types of insurance that you should have. A little bit of term life insurance mixed with a little bit of permanent life insurance. Boom. I say boom in a bad way, but there you have it. You have that along with your disability insurance in the event of if you were to get hurt, you couldn't work. That $100,000 that you're making, well, that disability insurance wouldn't replace all of your $100,000 or however much you're making, but a fraction of what you're earning to be set aside and that you can still get back. Absolutely.
And I don't know if this is a question or a statement. I think it's really important for people to get insurance outside of their employer, their job.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of us just depend on that employer, and you're like, oh, I already got insurance. I already got, because you're doing it and you've been with that job for so long. But we all don't want to work ourselves for the rest of our lives. So you have to get a plan that will allow you to be able to retire, and have that money work for you. So you do need to have a separate insurance from your work insurance. So that's important.
That statement I hear often more times than others. Well, I love my service members because I was one once upon a time. Curtis and I, we done it. And it's like, well, I already got insurance. I already got my SGLI. And it's the same thing. It's like, well, it's not portable. It's not, you can't pick it up and take it with you. So it's not portable. So you need, it's desirable to have that added protection. And, it's like, oh, the other part too is when we mention disability insurance, and a lot of my veterans who I love y'all, I really do. And then we earn that 100% permanent and total. And it's like, that's the end all, in some of our minds, that's the end all be all. Well, I got 100% P&T, I'm good. And it's like, oh, does your employer offer disability insurance? Because they hear the word disability and they assume. And it's like, well, I got my disability. And it's like, that's your fixed income. We don't want nothing is going to harm that. But when we're talking about disability insurance, we're looking at protecting your wages. And if you're unable to work, what is going to happen? Yeah, you get your disability, but we don't want your disability to go from doing its desired effects on one aspect and then being cut and then doing something else. So take up the offer that your employer offer when they offer you disability insurance. By all means, take it. Take it. So absolutely.
Okay. Well, it's Military Appreciation Month, and as a retired veteran, we thank you for your service. We thank you for coming on to talk a little bit about financial representation and having life insurance and how important it is. But before we let you go today, is there any final words you would like to give tell the audience before you get out of here?
It's not my word. I wish it was. It would make me so much better in life. But I'm living by it. But it's an older gentleman. His name is Earl Nightingale, and he helped work with an older gentleman back during the Depression. And the quote is, "Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service." And I just say it one more time. Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contributions, our service. If you want to make $1 million or you want to have $1 million in savings or in long term when you're done working, you cannot reach that by putting $50 a month because you don't want to disrupt the subscriptions that you have in your everyday life today. So whatever it is, whatever you expect to earn in life is going to be in exact proportion to your contribution, your service. That's all I have to add. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming. That's good. Yeah. So true.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gary Loten-Beckford. So, how do we contact you? How do if they need to get in touch with you about the insurance, or being their financial advisor? How do they contact you?
Absolutely. So my email address is Gary Loten-Beckford at gmail.com. And then my work email is Gary.Loten-Beckford at nm.com. And my cell phone number is 573-586-9463. I always keep my phone with me. My wife may think it's my imaginary girlfriend that's calling me, but it's just that I'm on the ready. Fedora laughed and shit. But no, I'm just on the go and I'm ready. And like I said, it could be 12:30 at night, it could be 1:30, whatever. I'm geeked out. I talk money, I talk financial planning, and it gets me going. So those are the best ways of reaching me. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us and talking about financial planning and life insurance. So,
thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we have current events. We got to go over Fedora because it ain't over till Fedora say it's over.
Really? Really, Curtis? If you say so.
Hey. So what do we have coming up, Fedora?
Let's see. Well, we have our second biannual El Paso Black Expo, which is August the 14th through the 21st, 2021, and it is virtual. Contact elpasoblackexpo.com. We want you to participate as a business vendor, entertainer, speaker, volunteer, or if you want to be a sponsor. Again, email us at elpasoblackexpo@gmail.com. We're also seeking participants for our virtual Juneteenth event for the Sun City Soul Fest. So please contact us. All right. Also, Black Business Month is August, and we're celebrating Black entrepreneurship virtual on the border all month long. In August, it'll be August the 20th for the 2021 El Paso Black Business Awards and Entrepreneur of the Year presentation. So during the El Paso Black Expo, which will be August 14th through the 21st, but on that 20th, that's what we'll be doing specifically.
Outstanding.
Father's Day, yay. It's going to be June 20th. So please, like we said earlier, send us those videos and pictures. So if you know a dad who deserves to be recognized, we're looking for 3 awesome fathers for our Father's Day giveaway. You can email us at therealsweet915@gmail.com, or you can message us at sweet915. Let's pick those best dads.
Best dads.
Contributing writers and bloggers. Black El Paso Voice is looking for contributors to assist with telling the stories about living #Black on the border. You can email blackelpasovoice@gmail.com for more information. So send that in. We have a lot of bloggers and writers out there.
Yes, we do.
Also, El Paso Women, contributing writers and bloggers at epwoman.com, is looking for contributors to assist with telling the stories about and highlighting women on the border. You can email us at elpasowomen@gmail.com for more information. So join us online at EP Woman.
EP Woman.
United Shades of America with Camu Bell. So Sunday, May 30th at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, CNN. The episode, Thank You for Your Service. U.S. Army combat veterans share their stories of military service. And we have two, Dana Petard, that's tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, our time. We have Dana Petard, former ground commander in Iraq defense industry leader. He's the speaker, military and national security strategist, and the co-author of Hunting the Caliphate. And then we have Mary L. Tobin. She's leadership and diversity consultant. She's an activist, an author, a lecturer, and co-founder of the West Point African American Alumni Association. Ooh. So join on CNN tonight at 8 p.m.
Mountain Time. Yeah.
And then we have Black on the Border, Living Black on the Border, every Monday at noon with our host, Curtis Smith. Mm-hmm. So join him at 12 noon, Living Black on the Border, blackontheborder.com.
Yes. Great announcements. It's did you go any barbecues this
today?
weekend?
Tomorrow?
Yeah. No,
you barbecuing? You invite me?
No.
Oh.
You don't eat meat. You're a vegan, remember?
I can eat seafood.
I ain't making no seafood.
Put some shrimp on the grill, make a kebab with some onions and bell peppers and some potatoes.
I'm going to the American Legion, eat some hot dogs and hamburgers.
So you taking the easy way out. Have somebody else do it.
It's free.
Yeah. Go
for it. American Legion post number 832. Come on down and get some free food.
All right.
Starting at 5 p.m. Hamburgers.
Where is that one located?
That is 2400 Bassett Street.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the veterans down there. We're gonna go down there and socialize, and I think they're going to do a little presentation as well before we begin to eat food and stuff like that. Partake in the food. So they do it every year. So
okay.
If you're a veteran, you want to come down and meet some veterans, 2400 Bassett Street, and hot dogs and hamburgers. Come on down and have some fun. And if you're not a member, you can become a member.
That's nice. And I just said that about kebabs. Now I got kebabs in my brain. I think I might be fixing those for myself tomorrow then. Shrimp kebab.
Yeah. So remember, if you want to be on the show, you want to be a guest and talk about some of the things that's going on and what you want to do here in El Paso, what's got going on in El Paso, be our guest. Contact us at realsweet915@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you and come on the show and talk about, no topic is taboo, as we say. As you can see, no topic is taboo. We talk about finances, mental health, relationships. That seemed to be the topic of the year, relationships. So tell us what's going on, how COVID was treating you, and if you had COVID, what was the end result? And as you can see, I had COVID. I had the shot, and I'm still here. So thank God for that. It was a rough battle with that, but the shot kind of, the first shot was had some side effects, but the second shot I didn't have anything. So,
you were backwards then.
Yeah.
Most people, the first shot is just sore arm, and then the second shot is the one that's the doozy. So you were backwards. So basically, anything goes. Like, you will have symptoms, you won't have symptoms, but if you don't, good. If you do, you'll get through them. You'll get to the other side. So that's the main point.
That's the main point.
It's rough, but you'll get to the other side. So, and that's what we want, for you to be all right.
Yeah. Get the shot. So you'll be walking around with no mask. Some stores, I went to some stores and they're saying, if you've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you don't wear the mask. So you ain't nobody asking from yes. I'm telling you, here in El Paso, they're relaxing it. They're saying if you're fully vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask. Exactly.
How you know the person fully vaccinated?
You got your card in your hand. No. Okay, put your mask on. That's all I'm saying.
And even if you are fully vaccinated, if you don't know if someone else around you or that is fully vaccinated, then you can still get it. Like you, and so it goes back to that bubble again, right? So if you know the people in your bubble have all been vaccinated, then you can be around those people and without your mask in, whatever little environment that you're in. However, when you go out and about, you're not going to say, hey, let me see your card. Let me see your card. Here's my card. Get a placard and put around your neck with your card, like you wear your badge at work to get inside the building. Okay. So use common sense. Wear your mask if you don't want to get sick. Just because you had the vaccination does not mean you cannot contract COVID. Like if you won't die from it, thankfully, but you still don't want that pain. I'm telling you. Like,
you don't want that pain. I went through
tell
that.
them, Curtis, you don't want.
See, I got color in my skin. When I had COVID, I was great. So I'm being real with you. I'm telling you, my skin color turned gray. So I didn't look like me. So I knew something was wrong. Yeah. So.
Had people calling you, I did threaten you.
Hey, I wasn't
better text me back. Someone had to send somebody to your house to check.
It won't happen again.
It was bad. Right. It was bad.
Well, we're about to get out of here, Miss Fedora, because we have some other things we have to do today. So anything for the people before we get out of here?
Nope. As I always say, keep loving your heart, stay safe, wear those masks, protect yourself, your family, and those you love, and friends. That's it.
And remember, thanks for tuning in to Sweet 915. No topic is taboo. Have a good evening. Be blessed.
Peace.